Welcome to the Michigan Football Report Rumors Roundup. It is Wednesday, March 7th. I am the king of Michigan football media, James Yoder. Let's get things started. We got 15 rumors to discuss right now going on with the Michigan football program. Number one, is Shea Patterson going to find out about his 2018 eligibility within the next week? Well, we're going to give this one two Harbaugh heads because people are talking, folks. So The Huge Show, a very popular radio show out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, had several guests on in the last couple of days, all talking about the Shea Patterson eligibility likelihood, and what they were saying is that they're hearing from their sources that it might be within the next week. And if that is true, that means Shea Patterson will go into 2018 spring practice knowing whether or not he is eligible for the 2018 season. So as of right now, no decision on Shea Patterson. He's still ineligible, but people are talking that he may be eligible for might find out his eligibility for 2018 within the next week. All right, on to rumor number two. Was Shea Patterson at the NFL Combine this weekend? Well, we're giving this one a four Harbaugh heads because it's coming from himself. He put this up on Instagram on Saturday, a picture from the NFL Combine, and what's the caption across there? In due time. And so that is a four Harbaugh head, FACK, Shea Patterson. Why was he at the NFL Combine? Well, I looked into it quite a bit, thinking maybe he had teammates going there, maybe he was going to meet with some people. Unsure at this time why he was there, but if I was going to take a guess, in due time. He already has aspirations of playing one season at Michigan, entering the NFL draft after the 2018 season, a year early, potentially 2 years early if he doesn't get any eligibility, and being there to perform next year. So he's probably going out checking out the scene, maybe talking to some people, maybe even talking to some agents, just planning ahead a year. Never know what happened there, but Shea Patterson was at the NFL Draft Combine this weekend in Indianapolis. On to rumor number three. Is Shea Patterson predicting a big year for Michigan football in 2018? Well, we're going to give this one a three Harbaugh heads. You're going to have to read the tweet for yourself. So he tweeted at the Michigan basketball team saying, "Set the tone for a big year then, you Mich basketball," with a little winky face on there. So big year from them, big year from the football team. I think he's kind of trying to insinuate that they're not the only ones that are going to have a big year. Saying the tone means that Shea Patterson expects Michigan football to have an equally big year, a conference championship level or better year like the basketball team did. So that one is a three Harbaugh head. What are the three Harbaugh heads? It's the Chat Sports Harbaugh believability scale. Zero Harbaugh heads, totally false, fake news. One Harbaugh head, small shred of truth. Two Harbaugh heads, people are talking 50-50. Three Harbaugh heads, it means it's pretty likely. And if we give you the four Harbaugh heads, folks, that means it is FACK, fact. That's how Jim Harbaugh spells it. That's how we spell it here at Chat Sports. All right, I am your host, James Yoder. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter at James T. Yoder. I'm putting out all kinds of great information on Michigan football. Got the account blocked, so only true Michigan fans who are restricted, only true fans who watch this show can get in and see what I'm tweeting about. So with the show starting with Shea Patterson, I want to know, let's throw up this reaction poll here. What do you think about the hype behind Shea Patterson? Do you believe the hype? Is he the missing piece from an 8-5 season to a 13-0 or better season if they go all the way and win the national championship? So if you think he is worth the hype, he's a championship quarterback, it's the missing piece for Jim Harbaugh, give it a thumbs up. If it is a no, Michigan's got still problems, or they didn't need him. It doesn't matter if it's him or McCaffrey. They're going to do good, do bad. Give it the laughing face, the ha-ha there on your keyboards if you're watching this on Facebook. All right, on to rumor number four. Has Jim Harbaugh never felt better? Well, I listened to his podcast a couple days ago, and he actually dropped a few really interesting nuggets just about his well-being, the well-being of the staff, the program, and he said that after the fifth loss to South Carolina in the bowl game, he really was down in the dumps, and he's taken strides over the past 8 to 10 weeks to really improve his mental health, his physical health, and he said he's never felt better going back to his playing days. So that is a good sign. Previous shows we've talked about how people are insinuating that Jim Harbaugh is in some bad health, potentially needs a hip replacement. So he says he's never felt better. I believe him, but I'm only giving him three Harbaugh heads on this one because, people just say things. There's coach speak. When someone asks you, how do you feel? I never felt better, right? That's the answer you give him. So let's go on to rumor number five. Is the offensive coaches staff under fire? The entire side of the offense, the coaching staff, are they under fire from Jim Harbaugh, from the administration? Who is it? Well, Jim Harbaugh says, himself included, everyone who's in that room, the offensive coaches, the offensive coordinator, line coach, everybody in that room, including the analysts, are under fire from him and from each other to get better and to, overcome the mistakes and the poor performance of 2017. So we're giving this one a four Harbaugh head, folks. FACK. Jim Harbaugh said it himself that they have been spending 10 hours a day in the room together for the last 6 weeks with the new coaching staff. You've got Ed Warner, who has joined the coaching staff as offensive line coach. Jim McElwain will be announced the opening of spring practice as the offensive coordinator, wide receivers coach. You've also got Sharon Moore as your tight end coach. So a complete flip of the roster. Only Jay Harbaugh and Pep Hamilton on that coaching side, the offensive side, remain from last season. So they're spending 10 hours a day in the room, 6 days a week, trying to come up with a better game plan to win the Big Ten, potentially win the national championship, take advantage of some skill sets of Dylan McCaffrey, Shea Patterson into the future. All right, on to rumor number 6. Is Michigan's website selling you fake news? Well, I don't know what to make of this one, so I'm just going to give it a 2 Harbaugh heads because it was all over the place yesterday. People are talking that Michigan completely embellished the resume of one Jim McElwain, so I want to just kind of hit the highlights on this one. So this is from mgoblue.com, Jim McElwain's bio under the coaching part of that website. McElwain's units were explosive on offense during his time at Florida, especially through the passing game. His 2015 aerial attack became Florida's first since 2009, when a guy named Urban Meyer was the coach, to throw for more than 20 touchdowns, yada, yada, yada. So with that, an explosive offensive attack is not something anyone would describe Jim McElwain having at Florida. They do point out a couple interesting facts, though. First coach in Florida history to win back-to-back SEC East titles to start his career as a coach at Florida. That was a pretty interesting one, to say the least. Also saying that he is one of 3 coaches in Florida history all-time to win the SEC East in his first season. Only one to do it in back-to-back years. So that is what Michigan's selling, folks. It is fake news, a little bit there. I'm not going to call it necessarily fake news. I'm saying it's 2 Harbaugh heads that they purposely put out fake news on that one. So on to a question for you guys. Can Jim Harbaugh, we've had kind of a good 3 or 4 months of relatively negative news cycle outside of Shea Patterson coming in. I know people were celebrating Tim Drevno exiting the program and getting a new offensive coordinator, but with all the the negative news cycle around Michigan over the last few months, can Jim Harbaugh still live up to the expectations that many people put on him, myself included, when he came to Michigan just over 3 years ago? That included many Big Ten titles, a 500 record or better against Ohio State and Urban Meyer, and potentially 1 or 2 national titles. Can he live up? Let us know in the comments. But we are on to rumor number 7. Is a Notre Dame quarterback commitment that decommitted? Is he favoring Michigan? Well, a lot of teams are after this guy now, and I'm giving this one a 2 Harbaugh head because people are talking that he's favoring Michigan. I don't necessarily think that Michigan is the favorite in this one, but others do. So the man's name is Cade McNamara. He committed to Notre Dame back in July, just decommitted this week. He's a top 300 player nationally. He's not a 5-star by any means, so don't get too excited about him, but he definitely could add some depth to Michigan's quarterback lineup, potential starter down the road if he chose the Wolverines. Looking at Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, and USC now, a lot of competition for his services, so we'll see how this one plays out. But a bigger name is a 2019 5-star visiting Michigan soon, again for the second time. That is a 4 Harbaugh head, folks. This is F-A-C-K. It is Zach Harrison. He is a 5-star from right outside of Columbus. The 24/7 crystal ball is predicting him 100% to Ohio State, and that's no surprise given his proximity to Columbus, growing up Ohio State, and then the success they've been having for 50-plus years, but most notably the last 6-7 years under Urban Meyer. So that's 4 Harbaugh heads. He's coming back. Been to Michigan one time. Back last summer, he camped with Michigan between his sophomore and his junior years, and now he's coming to visit. Some people are holding out hope that Michigan could sway him the other way. He's coming up on his own dime, so we'll see what to make of this one. But he is visiting on March 17th, so check back with us in a couple weeks to see how that visit went. On to more recruiting news. Has Michigan offered an 8th grader, a kid in middle school? Well, that is a fact, and this is the picture he posted on Twitter yesterday. FACK 4 Harbaugh heads on this one. His name is, where is his name? I forget what his name is, but nevertheless, he's in 8th grade, so we don't need to tell you his name because it's too young to be giving a quarterback a scholarship offer if you're in 8th grade. I don't know what the motivation here is. I don't think there's any chance that you know what he's going to project 8 or 9 years down the road when he's a senior in college to give him a scholarship now at 13, 14 years old. But Michigan did make him an offer. He put it out on Twitter just this week, and now it's something that a lot of people are talking about. I think this is just no way this can be a good thing for Michigan if he doesn't turn out to be as good as expected. You know, Michigan turns their back on him. If he's better than expected, we'll see what happens. But that is the facts. An 8th grade quarterback has been offered by Michigan and Jim Harbaugh. All right, again, my name is James Yoder, the king of Michigan football media. I am in the new Chat Sports Center here in Ann Arbor at Schembeckler Hall. It's where we're shooting this show. So go ahead and give me a follow on Twitter, and you're going to get some awesome stuff there. All right, on to the next rumor. Rumor number 10. We got 15 of these bad boys for you. Does Michigan have the 3rd toughest schedule in America for 2018? Well, I think that's a little bit low, but people are talking that it's two Harbaugh heads. So the bookies are saying, based on their data, UCLA, Florida State have harder schedules. So people are talking this one, ranking Michigan 3rd above Oregon State, Pitt, Purdue, Arizona State, Maryland, LSU, and some others. So Michigan has 5 games against projected top 15 teams, and 3 of those are on the road: Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan State. I find it tough to believe that anyone has a tougher schedule in America, but as you see there, we've got a college football gambling guy kind of putting his numbers out there. Michigan, the 3rd hardest schedule in 2018. On to rumor number 11. Saw this one yesterday, reached out to some people, got some positive vibes that this is probably true, but not in a bad way. But is Shea Patterson, is he having a tough time fitting in Ann Arbor? Is he not kind of part of the team yet? So we're going to give this one a 2 Harbaugh heads because, well, here's the word, all right? Shea Patterson is coming into Ann Arbor as a 3rd-year player. So the last 2 years at Ole Miss, Michigan has Brandon Peters, who started a handful of games last year. They've got Dylan McCaffrey, who was anointed the starter of the future. They've got Joe Milton already on campus. So a lot of these guys have known each other for years. And remember that, when that new kid showed up in high school or middle school, they didn't automatically make best friends with everybody in the first 2 months. So that's what Shea Patterson's dealing with. He's not necessarily palling around town with all the guys just yet, but I've been told nothing to be concerned about. Shea definitely is a personal guy, makes friends easy. We saw all the Ole Miss players who were interested. Many of them wanted to come to Michigan, couldn't get in with the academic side of it, but Shea Patterson is one that can recruit, can make friends, can take ownership, but it just hasn't happened in 2 months yet. But once they get on the field in pads and, a little over 2 weeks from now, I think that's all going to change. So on to rumor number 12. Is Michigan's kicker transferring? Well, it is true. It's a 4 Harbaugh heads. That's FACK, but it's not the kicker you're thinking of. It is Ryan Tice, who only got playing time 1 out of his 4 years in Ann Arbor. That was in 2016. Got 10 extra points for the Wolverines. Never got any action as a field goal kicker, but he is actually heading to Tennessee as a 5th-year transfer. Has an opportunity to start there. They've got some issues at kicker, but no action in 17. Saw 10 kicks in 2016. Quinn Nordine's got 3 years of eligibility left. I expect him to be the starting kicker all 3 of those years. So no, love lost between Tice. He's going to pursue a graduate degree there at Tennessee. All right, my name is James Yoder. Follow me, James T. Yoder, on Twitter. It is a private account, so you got to get my approval, but go ahead and press that follow button if you're pulling up Twitter right now. I want to walk you through the Harbaugh heads one more time quickly. 0 to 4 schedule, or 0 to 4 levels. 0 Harbaugh heads, totally false. Fake news. If we go up to 4 Harbaugh heads, it's FACK, fact. That's how Jim Harbaugh spells it. That's how we spell it here at Chat Sports. Is Calvin Anderson waiting on Shea Patterson's eligibility before he commits anywhere? Well, we're going to give this one a 3 Harbaugh heads, folks. It looks like Calvin Anderson, who will be a ready-made 5th-year starter for Michigan next year, spent 4 seasons at Rice, all conference level seasons there to boot, looking for a program that can get him to the pros, can help him prepare for the NFL Combine next year. He has been holding out. People thought he was going to commit 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. He wants to know, is Shea Patterson going to be eligible? If so, it looks very likely he will end up as a Michigan Wolverine in 2018. So don't hold out for Anderson to make a decision until you hear what make of Shea Patterson. If Patterson is eligible, I think we can expect Calvin Anderson to be in the maize and blue in 2018. Number 14 are the McCaffrey brothers saving 72-year-old men who fall while they're hiking. Well, it is a fact, folks. This is a really amazing story. So Dylan McCaffrey, his brother Christian, his younger brother, and a few friends were out hiking in Colorado over the weekend, and they resuscitated a man who had fallen 20 feet, who was hiking with his son, slammed into the ground, and Christian McCaffrey, Dylan's brother, said felt like he was in the air for 10 seconds, and then the noise was just something he could never get over, how loud the guy hit the rocks beneath him. He actually stopped breathing, and their friend, I want to get the gentleman's name right to give him credit, friend's name is Michael Mann, did CPR on the 72-year-old man hiking with his grandfather, resuscitated him, and they carried him out of there to get to get an ambulance to come. So pretty interesting story out of Colorado. Good thing, nothing happened to the McCaffrey brothers, of course, but looks like they did a good deed, potentially saved a man's life. Last rumor for you: is there another DUI for a member of the Michigan operations and performance staff? Well, it's a 3 Harbaugh head. I wanted to be a 4 Harbaugh head, but he got pulled over last weekend. Saturday night, this news is kind of all coming out just in the last day or so. Got pulled over, blew well over the legal limit, but because of some testing rule, they need 72 hours, whatever it is, they haven't charged him with a DUI yet. But the second that report comes out, obviously it's going to be FACK. Maybe they can lawyer up and get it dismissed somehow, but this is just super embarrassing. This is the second time in 3 years someone who holds this role of director of football operations, and there's quite a few of them. Now this guy's focused on the performance side of things. Second time in 3 years, a Michigan director of ops got a DUI in the city of Ann Arbor. I got one thing to say. Come on, man. What is going on here? So that's what we've got. I've got one piece of advice for the Michigan coaching staff. It's a very simple piece of advice. I'm going to throw it up there on the screen. It's Uber. Just use Uber. Why would you ever get in the car? You're a football coach. He's making $250,000 a year at that role as Michigan's director of operations and player performance. So that is the story on that gentleman. We'll see if he keeps his job. Want to know what you guys think about this one before we sign off. Will Shea Patterson be eligible in 2018? We want to toss that one up on the screen here momentarily. Yes or no? Will Shea Patterson be eligible in 2018? Just toss in the comments if you're on Facebook Live. If you're watching this on YouTube after it's live on Facebook, also toss in the comments there. We'll get that bad boy rolling. I know you guys love the Harbaugh head, so keep the comments coming on that too. I am James Yoder, the king of Michigan football media. Follow me on Twitter. I'm approving people the rest of the day. As long as you're not an Ohio State fan, go blue.